I got into both Stanford and Harvard's business schools, and I thought I'd make this little video to share a bit about my journey and how you too can make it into one of the top business schools. I think getting into business school first requires purifying your intention. The goal cannot be to get into a good business school. That is only a byproduct of something larger that you want to do. And for me, that something larger really required a lot of thinking, reflection, and being very true and authentic about what it is that I want to pursue after an MBA program. An MBA program is effectively a 2-year break, at least in the US, from regular work, which gives you a lot of time to reflect, a lot of time to meet with people, have new experiences, and really grow your soft and, to an extent, hard skills. It takes away time from building real stuff. It also takes away time from creating wealth for yourself, because on one hand, not only are you going back to school and losing all your earning potential for those 2 years, on the other hand, you're actually paying for it. So it's a double whammy in some sense. So going for an MBA requires a lot of pure intention and clarity of thought, which, if the goal is to just get into a top business school, would probably not be the case. The goal has to be, why does an MBA matter to me, and how am I going to leverage it after I graduate? And once you have that clear, that is when all of the other things will become automatically very, very clear. For me, that something was clear, and that really helped me. The second thing that really helps in getting into a good business school is being authentic to your story. A lot of us tend to think that our story is not that unique, or I come from a traditional or a non-traditional background, but please understand that an MBA is effectively primarily for those people who want to make a pivot, who want to switch from one industry to another. So about 50 to 60% of the class wants to pivot into something else. So if you're coming from some field that you think is not relevant for an MBA process or an MBA journey, think twice, because maybe it is. And maybe that field is what they are looking for. I came from a media and tech background, and for me, that really added a lot of flair and differentiation from the other applicants. And so that is something that you need to think about very deeply when you're applying for your MBA. Be authentic to your story. The third thing that really matters is commitment. When I started my business school journey, I didn't realize that it would take so much time. You have to do your GMATs or your GREs. You have to get letters of recommendation. You have to get your transcripts. You have to get everything in order. You have to get your resume done. You have to write your essays. You have to think about that. I personally thought it would be easier to apply for a business school than it was to apply for undergraduate education. Turns out it was quite the opposite, because you see, for a business school, you suddenly have a lot more data points. You have your work experience, you have your undergraduate experience, and you have a whole lot of pressure because you're supposed to reflect on the past 20 odd years that you've spent in life. What were you doing? Why were you doing that? And what was truly motivating you? And an MBA really forces you to think about all of that, at least the MBA application journey. For me, I think a lot of value was derived just from the fact that I decided to apply to business school. It's difficult to obviously get in, but I would say it's harder to apply, because application forces that intense reflection on what it is truly that matters you. So to close off, what I would say is that the goal cannot be an MBA. An MBA is only a byproduct of something deeper, something more reflective. And really, the value of the business school application is in the journey itself. Because once you're truly clear about this is why business school makes sense for me, and you set those intentions right, then you'll probably have the answer of whether business school is for you or not. And that, to me, is an even more important question than whether you want to go to a prestigious brand name or a prestigious business school or not. I think having that clarity before you even start delving into the nitty-gritty of how and where and why to get into business school is super important and critical. And that is what I wish I had known when I was applying for business school. I think my entire application would have been much easier, would have been much more comfortable and convenient looking back. So I hope that this video helped you. Share this with somebody who's considering or dabbling with the idea of going for master's education or business school education, or just generally thinking about their career. Because ultimately, the value of applying to these institutions or these degrees is not in the degree itself. Of course, they have value, but the real value is in what I like to call life university, because they really force you to think critically, deeply, and analyze your life so far and what you want to do with it after you get that education. And if you are able to do what you want to do after that degree, now, why would you take time off from your current plan, from your current life for 2 years or more to get a degree when you're already on that process? So I think all these questions are important to answer as you direction set yourself on the mission to go or not go for higher education to the US.